Good morning, everybody, and happy Thursday. Welcome back to your Lunch Break Live. My name is Ivana, and this morning, so many of us in Alabama are waking up to the remnants of some really bad weather we had overnight from Hurricane Zeta. Now, if you slept through this, Hurricane Zeta hit overnight. It hit Alabama, Georgia, Louisiana, and Mississippi, all the southeastern states. And there were some places that experienced a lot more damage than others. And one of those places is Citronelle. Now, our own John Sharp is down in Citronelle right now. That is north of Mobile. It's about 45 minutes north of Mobile. John Sharp is down there. He's been there since this morning. John, tell us what's happening in Citronelle.
Well, hey, Ivana. Yeah, I'm right now standing in a rural residential area off the road called Prime Road. It is has a lot of residential homes along this road. Very pretty day to day. It's gorgeous outside. But this was one of the harder hit areas of Citronelle last night during Hurricane Zeta. And the biggest issues here that affected Citronelle were downed trees and especially the power poles, the power lines. And let me give you a kind of a glimpse of what we're looking at. This is kind of a situation here, as you can see on this street, of the power lines leaning. Very dangerous situation. There's been a lot of cars traveling down this road, so they've had to go very slowly along and around the power lines, which basically would be put at eyeball level if you walk down there. They're leaning, and it's a very dangerous situation. Now, of course, the power's been shut off here, so we don't have any risks of anything extreme out here. But so the power is all shut down in Citronelle. Alabama Power reports that 90% of the folks in Citronelle do not have power, and that's probably going to be expected through the next couple of days. I don't think there's, the message to me was that don't expect the power to be put back on anytime soon here in this part of North Mobile County. That was the big concern last night. There was a lot of transformers popping, a lot of power poles toppling over. Again, in Citronelle last night, reports are that there was 4 people injured, 2 people inside a house in which the roof collapsed, then 2 other people in a motor vehicle crash involving a downed tree. So there was 4 people injured, but none were critical. So we have no fatalities here in Citronelle. Very fortunate situation last night in regards to that.
Right.
So,
we've got Lisa commenting. She lives in Chinchilla, close to Citronelle. No power since 8 last night. So she's got trees lying and power lines down. Lisa, that's over 12 hours that's over 12 hours without power. And that sounds so miserable. And I know a lot of people are in your same boat. So we're thinking about you, Lisa. I know I'm in Birmingham, and we have power down across our city and across our surrounding areas as well. And I've not really gotten out to venture to see down trees or anything, but I do know I have heard of some in the Birmingham area. So a lot of people really feeling the effects from Zeta last night. We got Carmen who wants to know everybody if they're okay. John, are you okay? How was your experience last night during the storm?
Well, I was in Daphne, the eastern shore of Mobile. Certainly Hurricane Sally affected our area much more than Zeta did. This was a storm that affected North Mobile County more the inland areas of Mobile County. And so it had kind of a unique impact there. So, Daphne, my lights flickered. We weren't even without power for very long. I know certain areas of Daphne are without power, as are certain areas of Fairhope. But for the most part, the Baldwin County skirted the worst effects of this hurricane. Now, again, here I am in Citronelle. My understanding is that there's 149,000 customers with Alabama Power in the Mobile County, Escambia County, Clark County, Monroe County areas that are without power as of 10 o'clock this morning. So that's a lot of people. And also throughout the state of Alabama, 490,000 Alabama Power customers without power right now.
That is 500,000 Alabama Power customers without power. Correct. I know mine went off around midnight, around 1 a.m., didn't come back till about 8. Luckily, we slept through most of it. We've got Tammy saying power off around Anniston, lots of down trees around her area as well. Hers went off about 3. We've got Randy saying Sims Chapel, got trees down everywhere without power. Everybody seems to be kind of experiencing the same thing here. We've got Tim saying, I'm in upstate New York. I have a crew mobilized if anyone needs help. Tim, thank you so much for your offer there. Very appreciative. I know everybody here appreciates it. But luckily, it seems like hopefully our injuries are very low. It is just the power situation, the down trees, the cleanup that is what is needing to happen right now. And John, I know you had to take a little drive this morning to get to Citronelle. Did you see any structural damage on your routes? Did you see any homes or businesses badly damaged?
The major damages I saw were trees on roofs. I did not see any homes that were just obliterated. I mean, there was no damage to that effect. I wouldn't call the word devastation means one thing to one person, might mean someone to the next. To me, there wasn't what you would call devastation. Again, this was a Category 1, 2 storm. I think when it was making its way through Alabama, it was at a Cat 1 strength. Folks are anecdotally saying that, well, it was about 100-mile-per-hour winds that came through here. I have not confirmed that, but I would think that the damage that I've seen is not what one would judge as widespread catastrophe. What it was a lot of trees that you're seeing down on top of roofs, very similar to what we saw in Sally. With a lot of trees. A lot of tree damage, a lot of power pole damage, very similar, just that it's affecting a different part of this region, being that it's in North Mobile County and in the Clark County, Escambia County as well, versus what we saw in Sally affected more of your cities in Baldwin County. And again, because it's more inland, we don't have the damages that we saw to boats or the type of storm surge we saw in Gulf Shores associated with this particular storm. So kind of a different, every storm's different.
Absolutely. We're going to get people saying Shelby County and then Mount Vernon, both of those areas with lots of down trees, no power. And it seems like, again, was a widespread storm. Now, we know that those 55-mile-an-hour tropical storm winds, we were expected to be out of the state by 10 a.m. So about an hour ago is when the Alabama Emergency Management Agency said those should be out of our state. Zeta should be moving on up and out of Alabama. So sun is coming out there. You can see, John, the sky behind you. It does look like a beautiful day. And at least now people can see what their situation is. People can see what needs to be cleaned, what debris needs to get out of the way. But we do need to say, the reason this power grid in Citronelle was shut off is because there were so many downed power lines. We've got down power lines across the state, and those are not things that first responders, that officials want civilians to deal with. You are very, very strongly encouraged to stay as far away from down power lines as possible. John, are you seeing a lot of those in your area here? We can see you've got those lines down behind you. Is anybody coming up and trying to, work on them or get near them, or are people heeding the warning to stay away?
Yeah, well, right now the power's shut down, so these power lines are not active. Obviously, you're seeing cars driving very gingerly through this situation. This is kind of an extreme situation, which the power lines are leaning clearly into the road. Again, I'm on a road called Prine Road, a rural residential neighborhood in Citronelle. What I've seen is some power crews from, there was a power crew from Florida here. You're going to see a lot of mutual aid agreements being put into place here with Alabama Power. Folks, power companies from outside the area, or even those that are in neighboring counties, will be here helping to fix the power grid in the next couple of days. They're going to have wonderful weather to do it. Folks in town here I was out at the Ace Hardware earlier, and there's a line of folks standing there waiting to get in. The place is run on a generator right now. Folks are standing in line to get to buy chainsaws and other type of equipment to start cleaning up their properties. It's very common what we see after a hurricane comes through and affects a community. And I'm starting to see. I saw folks getting out, chopping up debris, getting it off the streets, getting things cleared for their neighbors. This is a good. Folks here are good people. That they're out here. They're helping their neighbors out. That's what you do after a storm like this that affects your community. They're going to be without power for a while. You probably won't see. So there's. you know, and again, the nice weather helps. You're going to have
Absolutely.
cooler weather in the evenings. That you know, when Sally hit, it was in September. We had a couple of days where it was high humidity, and it made things miserable for cleanup. But here we're going to have, you know, weather in the 70s, even cooler into the 60s. So, you know, you couldn't ask for anything better after such a you know, kind of a harrowing evening.
Well,
And
and we know that that power grid is shut off there in Citronelle, but in other places across the state, especially in the Birmingham region, Shelby County region, central Alabama, our power grids have not been shut off, but there are still some down power lines. So please, y'all stay away from them. Do not approach them. Those could still be wired, and you could run into a really life-threatening situation trying to approach those. So please be careful there. Now, we've got Lisa saying a friend of hers lives in Citronelle. She had lots of trees down and they broke out her living room window. So Lisa, very glad that your friend is okay. Absolutely hate to hear that, but their lives are much more important, and I think everybody can agree with that one. John, where are you planning to go now? Are you going to stay in Citronelle and survey that damage a little bit more, or do you know if any surrounding areas are equally as bad hit?
well, we have a reporter up in Clark County. I've heard, you know, Clark County is almost completely without power right now. It got hit pretty hard. Citronelle and Mobile County, my understanding, is one of the probably the most hardest hit areas. And I'll stick around here for a little bit longer. The Ace Hardware, like I said earlier, was a popular place to be. A lot of folks standing in line. It's a cleanup day here. You can already hear the chainsaws rumbling. There's folks on their tractors driving by. I mean, it's you know, the communities. They got. I mean, it got punched pretty good last night, but it's going to come back. This isn't a complete and total destruction, as maybe what was indicated last night through an emotional social media message by the mayor. But that's not what we have here. This is a community that will rebound from this. It just takes time, and that time begins now.
Absolutely. And, you know, I think that we can all, this is the time where Alabama, we have been through, unfortunately, many of these storms. We know how to come together. We know how to clean this up and rebuild it. So everybody talking about their areas, Clanton, Verbena, Wilsonville, Drew Court community, everybody talking about their areas hard hit. We are thinking about all of you. Please be safe, and please keep your loved ones safe. Make sure nobody is trying to fix power lines or anything like that by themselves. So we are thinking of all of you, keeping you safe. John, you stay safe out there, and you keep all of our reporters out there safe as well.
Okay, thanks, Ivana.
Thank you, John. Everybody, thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, and we will see you later.